Hello and welcome to Successful Farming. On today's program, I'm tracking the sale of two pieces of precision ag equipment at auction. The marketplace is loaded with this technology, which allows you to upgrade your tractor, combine, or sprayer on a budget. And then we feature a beautifully restored Ford 8N owned by Don Landoll of Landoll Manufacturing fame. The Engine Man Ray Bohacz is back, explaining the basics of turbocharger operation and maintenance. And after these brief messages, I tour the Runyard Family Farm Shop and Office Complex located in Wisconsin. So please stay tuned. Most of the time our Top Shop tours focus on, well, shops of course. And today's Top Shop tour of the Runyard Family Farm near Oconomowoc, Wisconsin certainly has a great shop and office complex, which we will be touring. But one of the best features at the Runyard Farm is the farmstead surrounding the shop. Let's go talk to Dexter Runyard about his family shop complex and farmstead plan. Start out with the shop. This is part of the kind of a shop and storage complex. Kind of walk us through how you laid this out.
The shop is a 60 by 60, 15-foot sidewalls, and it's got a raised cords of truss in it. The back half is 60 by 70 cold storage, and with that we put a partition wall in just in case we wanted to finish off the back half of the shop.
So you planned on the structure for future expansion. That the partition wall could come down and then what, you'd concrete out?
Yes, and insulate it and finish it off like the front half here if we ever wanted to, or expand it to that point, yes. This
is something a lot of farmers don't necessarily think about when they do put a structure up. Where we've seen the split storage with the shop is, for some reason they think they're just locked in there. It really wouldn't be that hard.
No, it would not. And we didn't know quite how we wanted to set this up and lay it out, and we still don't, even though we've had it up over 10 years now already, and everything could change real easily and do something different, you know, and as things change, equipment changes, and your operation grows or shrinks, you know. So.
Right. Dexter, why don't you run us through it? Describe your farm operation and everybody that's involved with it.
Yeah, I farm with my parents, Alan and Susan, and they're the 5th generation on this farm. I'm the 6th generation.
No kidding.
So we've been on this farm 112 years, and so we all work together and multi-generational.
And you have a wife and
yes.
a couple of kids.
Yes.
And another one coming on the way
yes.
here. So by the time this airs, that other one will probably be here.
Yes.
And your wife, name is?
Chelsea.
Now, Chelsea and you are also involved in, besides corn, soybeans, you have wheat.
Yes.
And some hay.
Yep.
Because you're close to Milwaukee, you're
yep.
selling that hay and wheat straw off to different markets that way. You also are starting another venture then, or right in the middle of another venture.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, we started a parts business and a service. When we were slowed down and slow time of year, we'll work on combines, tractors, we sell parts. And we primarily started that because of just the savings on parts for ourselves, but then kind of expanded it.
Walk us through the office. You walk in and it's like this gorgeous living room.
Well, we originally had built it, and the idea was to have a machine shop and a welding shop and stuff in there and part storage, but...
Oh, I see. This started out as an extension of the office. Did your mom and wife have a say in this whole thing?
Mom did. And I got overruled really quick.
Well, it's very welcoming. You walk in there, and my gosh, it's like walking into a living room. There is an office right there, and of course a separate bathroom off
yep.
the side, right on the first floor.
Yep.
And then you finished out the second floor.
Yes.
A lot of people won't do that, but you built it up high. Was that to match the height of this building?
Yes.
And make it blend in? Yeah,
and have the dormers and everything, so it kind of gives it a unique look, kind of like a barn look in a way, but still a steel shed, you know.
Right. The second floor of the office addition offered a great area to create an office for Dexter's wife, Chelsea, as well as a rec room for their growing family. She needed an office because we'd mentioned before about the parts business. That gives her a place to be able to organize. This is kind of an emerging thing for you, isn't it?
Yes.
And there's got to be a lot of ropes, bells and whistles going on right now
yes.
with starting up parts fulfillment.
Yeah.
How does that work?
hard to explain in a way, but with all the parts dealerships we've been taking on, figuring out which products to get from what vendor and market things a certain way, and then what to have in inventory, and it's changing every week. And
wow, that's a lot to take on. So you guys are between that and a full-size farm operation.
we stay busy.
Often the old shop becomes strictly storage when a new shop is built, but the run yards found that their old shop still serves a purpose when making repairs. So you'll use this shop. Actually, you have two shops. This is the new one. You still have the old shop.
Yes.
And you're utilizing that as well. So what will you use this shop for then?
Mainly after the machines are cleaned up. The oil changes we primarily do down in the old shop where it's dirtier, we weld, cut, but we bring them in here and then we go through them in the winter when it's nice and warm in here and tear them down, rebuild them, and then put them in the cold storage after that.
The shop's so important for your operation with your dad, Alan, because you guys don't necessarily run a lot of new equipment.
No, a lot of it is older equipment from the 60s era on up to current today, but a lot of it's 90s, 80s, and early 2000s.
We'd noticed in the other shop when we were down there that you were working on a planter, getting it ready to put the wheat in, but also for soybeans. That isn't a pain necessarily to have to move equipment down there?
No, and both sheds still have toolboxes in them with the same amount of tools, and we're flexible either way. So,
an essential part of the Run Yard Farmstead plan was creating a spacious staging area complete with traffic lanes that serviced not only the shop, office, and machine storage, but also an adjoining grain system as well. I'll see you next time on another Top Shop Tour.
Hello friends, Ray Bohacz, Successful Farming Engine Man. And I want to talk to you today about turbochargers. Turbochargers and diesel engines go together like bacon and eggs. And they've been a mainstay on farm equipment and now in pickup trucks for many years. But it's really hard pressed for you to find a diesel that's normally aspirated and not turbocharged. So it's time that us farmers learn a little bit about turbochargers, because a lot like electronics and electricity, it's been a great mystery. The turbocharger does not know whether it's on a gasoline engine or a diesel engine. So what I'm going to tell you today applies to any turbocharged application. The turbo unit itself has what some people call a cold side and a hot side. But the actual name for it is this is the turbine side, which is the exhaust driven side, and the compressor is the cold side. So the exhaust operates the turbine, which is basically like an old grist mill. The exhaust goes past the turbine and spins it, and then what happens is that it spins the compressor, and the compressor forces air into the engine. We could do a whole segment on that eventually, and that's called an increase in volumetric efficiency, or how much the cylinder gets filled with air. This is called a cartridge, and this is the unit that has the turbine and then a compressor wheel, and it has, some of them will be liquid cooled, have engine coolant go through it to cool it, and it will always have an oil feed line. It's important that if the turbo ingests anything, specifically on the compressor side, it'll bend or ruin these fins, which will cause a problem. It'll have a reduction in boost, but more importantly, it will actually cause it to be out of balance, and then you will wear the bearing here. A lot of people talk about wastegates. What a wastegate is in a turbocharger is a pressure relief valve. When the turbo builds too much pressure due to the conditions that the engine is operating under, it's the safety valve. But many people have not seen it. This actually is an internal wastegate. What it is it's a flapper valve, as you could see here, and there's an actuator that's set up to it, that's connected to it. When the turbo boost, the boost manifold pressure gets too high, it actually moves this open, and then some of the exhaust bypasses the turbine wheel and controls the boost. It's that simple. So if you have a diesel that's low on boost, what you need to do is check all the connections, the inlet connections for the exhaust and for the compressor side, because you could be leaking. But if this wastegate disc gets carbon underneath it, then it's not going to seal. It's like a leaky faucet. and it's going to drip and you're going to have a low boost, low power. Well, lots of times the tractor, or the engine, I should say, becomes lazy. It doesn't want to pull like it did before because of the leaky wastegate. The other thing I want to bring into mind is that the turbochargers use a floating bearing. And what will happen is when the engine is off and you were to take the shaft and you were to move it up and down, because it's a floating bearing and there's no oil pressure there, it'll have a little bit of play. But the thing that you need to check is that when you move it and you spin it by hand, it does not hit any place. It's that simple to be able to check your turbocharger and understand it. You have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time from Columbiana at Firestone Test Farm.
Join me at sale to see what used precision ag equipment is selling for after these brief messages. Today on Steel Deals, I'm going to do something entirely different. You see, normally I talk about iron, tractors, combines, implements, trucks, and so on. But I'm seeing far more interest in precision ag equipment like this showing up either at dealerships or at auctions, like the sale being conducted by Steffes Auctioneers. What we have here for sale today is a John Deere ITC Starfire receiver and a 2600 display. Now, in the past, used precision ag equipment sat on shelves collecting dust, or it would go with the machinery that is being sold. Today, there's a growing marketplace for such equipment, as both farmers and dealers are realizing that they have worth. A good example of this can be found on Deere's online dealer site, machinefinder.com. Searching that site, I uncovered 25 listings for Starfire receivers and no less than 81 2600 displays. I went online and was stunned. A simple search turned out even far more precision ag equipment beyond Deere. And that is just the tip of the iceberg regarding the availability of used precision ag equipment that I recently discovered when talking to John Bickel of Used Precision Ag Solutions. I'm talking with John Bickel of Used Precision Ag Solutions. And John, I'm looking at this piece of precision ag equipment at this auction I'm attending. What should I look for if I'm buying a piece of equipment like that?
One thing I always look at is try to look at the serial number of the device and see what year it was made. Sometimes the serial number tells you the year it was made, sometimes it doesn't. But on some of these touchscreen devices, these touchscreens only last, 5-6 years, and they do wear out.
Do you have any buying tips when buying used equipment?
And you want to know what the new price is too. I mean, having an idea what they'd sell for new and find out what you can purchase it used for. I've been to some auctions where things have gone higher than new. So it pays to do your research ahead of time, knowing what the costs are.
How can you do that research?
A lot of times you can go online, you can give me a call, there's people, you can call your local dealers. They'll give you some ideas of what prices or what things are worth on the market right at that point.
You'd mentioned, like on screens being one of the pitfalls. Are there other pitfalls to buying used equipment, either from a dealer or at auction?
Having all the cabling. I mean, you'll be surprised how many people call me and they said they bought a monitor, but they're missing this cable or missing that cable. So knowing that all the cabling is there, all the cards are there, the mounts are there, if it comes with a manual, but usually you can download the manuals free of charge online from all these places.
What about warranty? Now, you might buy a tractor, has some gear in it, it's no more than a year old or so. Does that mean the warranty necessarily always crosses over to the next buyer? Typically,
a warranty on a monitor is 1 to 2 years. So they will transfer over. I mean, they're not tied to an individual person most of the time, so they will transfer over. But odds are you're probably going to buy something without a warranty on it.
Now, if someone needs to contact you, how would they do that?
If they go to our website, useprecisionag.com.
Thank you for the information, John. Let's get back to the auction.
I got 3 on the net, now 4. I'm 3 to 4 now, 4 to 5 now. I got 4 to 5, 5 to 5. Everybody needed a break, and now did you want a bit and 500 everywhere? I got 4 to 5, 5 to 5. Internet want a bit and 500 out of here. I got 400 and then 5 to 5. Just for guidance right here, 500 and times up. Gonna sell it in the crowd. I'm 5 now, 6 right here. What do you say? Hey, look at there, 6 and 7. Hey, then I'm a 700 out of where? Hey, look at there now, 700 out of. Bid you better bid 700 and I want to bid you better bid 700 and now did you want to bid 700 out of there now 5 times up. Sold it $600. Ladies and gentlemen, line number 130, we got this AMS equipment right here. It's a John Deere 2600 display. I get 2122. I get 2122. 150 bit and 22. Anybody in now? 23. I get 23 to 24. I get 23 to 24. Internet got a bit and 2400 everywhere. I get 23 to 24. 150 bit and 24. Tim says there's activations. 24, 25. I get 25 to 26. I get 25 to 26 right here. 150 bit and 2600 everywhere. I get 25 to 26. I get that much for brown box and SF1 cards. 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 27, 26 and 7, 7, 7. Hey, it would have been 27 right here now, having 27, 28. I get 27 right here, been 28. Spend enough time, 2800 out of there now, 9, and 9, 59, 3. I'm 2900 out of there now, 3. Internet got a 50 bit and 3 now, 31. I get 31, 1 50 bit and 3100 out of there once around the block, 3100 out of there now, having times up. Sold it, $3,000.
So how does the $600 and the $3,000 final bids on the receiver and the display compare to dealer asking prices? Remember, I had mentioned that I had tracked down 81 displays for sale with prices ranging from $2,200 up to $2,900. But the vast majority of them were priced to sell at $2,750. And what about those receivers? The entire lot of 25 ITC receivers listed at machinefinder.com were marked at $900. Certainly, the marketplace has found consistent prices for equipment, but knowing a reasonable bid isn't enough when buying used electronics. Like John Bickle said in the interview, you really need to know what is current on the market. Has the item you're interested in been well taken care of? Does it have all the accessories like cables to make it run? Has it been tested? Does it even run? Those are all good questions to ask before buying. Get answers from people like John or your local equipment dealer. Now, for more information about used Precision Ag Solutions, go to their website at usedprecisionag.com. I'll see you again next week on another Steel Deals Report. Don Landoll, the founder of Landoll Manufacturing, spent his youth behind the wheel of a Ford 8N. We feature his family heirloom after these brief messages. Our age-signed feature tractor this week is a 1950 Ford 8N owned by Don Landoll. And Don, you started farming on this tractor. This was a tractor your dad had, but it wasn't his first tractor. He had a 9N. But he upgraded to the 8N because?
At the age of 7,
ripe age of 7.
Ripe age of 7, we wanted he felt safer with both brake pedals being on the right rather than one on each side of the tractor of the old 9N.
Yeah. And so he upgraded to this. This was quite a tractor for you to be driving.
Well, it was interesting, but those days it was pretty common for myself and in the neighborhood boys all to be helping their dad's farm at that young age.
Well, Don, that must have been a really big source of pride for you to be that age to be able to drive a tractor, because that was the era when there were still people with horses and you had tractors, and this was a pretty advanced tractor for a young boy to be able to drive.
Well, that's true, because Dad's big tractor was a 38 John Deere G model.
Yeah.
So there was no way, of course, anyone young could drive a tractor like that. So
right.
With the big, strong clutch and all. So.
But this is quite a pretty modern tractor, but not only because of the 3 points, but because of the styling too, right?
It was, modern, ahead of its time.
Right.
It took the other majors a long time to come up with 3-point hitch, a draft control
right.
Hitch, because they were a great tractor on a 2-bottom plow with 23 4-horse, whatever they called them them days.
Right.
And so in order to do that, well, you set the plow properly, have the plow sharpened properly and everything to get the most out of the tractor.
3-point hitch was a big deal, and you'd said your dad had bought a whole line of equipment to work off the 3-point hitch.
Correct.
But the draft control was pretty revolutionary for its time then, that whole idea that it would automatically adjust it to the load.
Correct. Yeah, you could turn it on and off, but you definitely needed draft control with this size tractor to give you additional traction and
Right.
maintain the height level of the 3-point.
And that was a significant advancement in agriculture at the time, wasn't it?
Certainly was, and you know, it took the other majors a long time to come up with 3-point and some of the other advantages.
Well, Don, I really appreciate you telling us about your history with the 8N and what a great tractor and impact that it had on your life. I'll see you again on another Aegis Iron Feature Tractor of the Week. Join us next week for a special edition of Successful Farming. We are devoting the entire episode to celebrating the life and times of famous farm boy Harvey Firestone. This inventor of pneumatic tires got his start in life working on his family farm in Ohio. Harvey never forgot his roots and often returned home to put one of his inventions, the pneumatic tractor tire, to work when he wasn't hosting presidents, inventors, and world leaders on the farm. Join us next week as we celebrate Firestone's fascinating history and his impact on this country. See you next week on Successful Farming. Hi, I'm Dave Mowitz. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe right here if you haven't already, and click that little bell right here to be notified when we post a new video. And click here to see more great episodes from Successful Farming Television.